So I have a question. What has Black Lives Matter actually done for black people? What's going on, everybody? At the first, I'm Rob Smith and the new author of Always a Soldier, Service, Sacrifice, and Coming Out as America's Favorite Black Gay Republican, which is available now. But next, to Black Lives Matter. Now, we've seen all of the riots, we've seen all of the disarray, we have seen so much happen over the past couple of months. And we've seen all this because Black Lives Matter decided to unleash hordes of mentally unstable people onto the streets in support of this goal. They say Black Lives Matter, in support of the infinitesimal amount of African Americans who are shot and killed by white police officers. Because mind you, Black Lives Matter is only about African Americans that have been shot and killed by white police officers. It's certainly not about the African Americans that have been lost to gang violence in Chicago and all across the country over the past years. It's certainly not about the black lives that were lost at their own protests. But as we get deeper into this, I really want to know, what black people on the ground has Black Lives Matter actually helped? I know that it has helped raise billions at this point for the organization in general, and we all know that they're funneling that money to the Democrats and the DNC. We know that. That is documented and that is out there. We know that it has made a couple of gobbledygook intellectuals very, very wealthy and famous. We know that. We know that it has made a lot of white liberals more famous, and it has gotten them money, and now they're writing books like White Fragility, and so now they're hopping on that grift. And so Black Lives Matter has become a very lucrative grift for a lot of different people. But what about actual black people on the streets? What about their neighborhoods that are becoming more dangerous because of this push to defund the police? What about what it says on Black Lives Matter's actual organizational website, that they tend to dismantle the structure of the nuclear family? And as we all know, fatherlessness is one of the chief causes of a lot of the problems that we have in the African American community, and is definitely a huge factor into poverty. It is a huge factor into people that end up having run-ins with the law. It is a huge factor into so many of these different things that have destroyed African American communities for the past 30 or 40 years. And I say this because it is very important to understand, and it is critical that we know that Black Lives Matter as an organization doesn't define blackness. It doesn't define me as an African American. It doesn't define the vast majority of black people all across this country who just want to work, live our lives, be law-abiding citizens, and be left alone. So the question is, who is actually benefiting from the chaos that this organization is causing? Who is benefiting from the disruptions that this organization is causing? And when you dig deeper into it, and when you really look into it, it's the same people that have always benefited. It is wealthy white liberals that are at the top of the Democratic Party, because that is where most of this money is going to. It is black intellectuals on the left that can use this as a very lucrative grift to talk about how much racism is really affecting the African American community, without talking about the real tangible issues that are giving us problems. And it is very lucrative to white liberal grifters who are making money off of this idea of teaching people to renounce their white privilege and all of this white supremacy, which, by the way, always seems to take agency away from African Americans, because that's what white liberals on the left love to rob African Americans of. It is our agency. So when you think about what Black Lives Matter Inc. has really been able to accomplish for actual black people in our suburbs and in our cities and everywhere else, it's not much.